That's just a new way of phrasing practice makes perfect. This month we are going to be studying the Fifth Agreement by Don Miguel Ruiz, and specifically the Fifth Agreement, and this will be the Book of the Month Club, Book of the Month, and will be in the bookstore next week. So if you want to follow along, I don't preach from a page by page, but I do give you lessons from it. Agreements are beliefs that we've made with ourselves about who we are. The 4 agreements actually changed lives. There's a lot of testimonies about that. And the 4 agreements, the first book was about asking us to wake up spiritually and to take action so that we could let go of the old and let the new emerge. To allow that renewing, rejuvenating, re-energizing, refreshing spring come into us. Now, the sequel not only gives us a fresh new look at the first 4 agreements, because things have been happening to people all around the world since the book came out, but it gives us a 5th agreement, and it'll be the 5th agreement that we'll talk about for the rest of this month. But I'm going to sort of refresh your memories about 4 agreements and give you a little bit of word or two about them. The first agreement is to be impeccable with your word. To be impeccable with your word, because your word is the power of creation. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was of God. It is the beginning of creation in our life. And it's not just about what we say to others, but about what we say to ourselves. Now, I've talked a lot about that niggly voice inside of us that tells us lies about ourselves, and that we have to be consistent. We have to practice shutting it up. We have to practice putting it in the back burner. We have to practice telling it to go away while we study the truth about ourselves. Being impeccable means telling yourself the truth as often as you remember it. And we have a wonderful tool in this teaching to help you remember the truth, and it's called a practitioner. When you do not remember the truth about yourself, it's time to call a practitioner. And it can be as simple as saying, "Hello, Cynthia, I have forgotten the truth." And Cynthia will tell you the truth. This is the same for any of our practitioners. They help you remember what is true about who you are, what you are to do, and why you are here. And that is, you are the perfect son or daughter of God. You are the personalization, individualization of the supreme divine creator, and your job is to be yourself. Anybody here feel like being their self today? Well, then do it. That's all you have to do. That's your job description. Be yourself. Use any of the things that happen in life to shore up that authentic you. It's real interesting because in the Practitioner 1 class this week, we were talking about authenticity and what's in it for me. And so we did what we call a Benjamin Franklin, where we have the pros on one side and the agains on the other. For and again, I think it's pros and cons, but it depends on what part of the country you come from. But the pros of being authentic. And then what happens when you are not being authentic? What happens to you? What happens to your life? What do you create in your life? Well, for instance, you create that which is not true. When you are not true to yourself. When you are not being the true Wayna, but trying to imitate, I haven't ever tried this, but Michael Beckwith. It would not come off, would it? You would not hear Michael Beckwith, you would not see Michael Beckwith, and you would not see or hear Wayna either. So some of the pros about being authentic is that you can live a life centered in who you are. You can be impeccably yourself.